skills and himself.
The people here in Fenor have been wonderful to us. Their sense of humor, I think, reflects the country they live in. It's very fresh and windblown here, and people blow through as well, and I think it affects their perspective of the outside world. They aren't closed in here and ingrown like a lot of country places. Jack Scanlon, the postman, is a great friend, too. He brings us all our news, of course, and not only from the outside world, but from around the neighborhood.
Oh, Jack.
Morning.
Nothing for me?
Yes.
I'll see something good in that.
Oh, yeah.
Any money?
Could be money in that.
No, the Americans always have the money in them. Great job. It's strange. You up the bog lately?
We take a lot of walks around here. It's a gorgeous place for it. There's a lot of old roads, and just straight up the mountain is more or less like walking up stairs with the limestone the way it is. The beach is like therapy to us. Whenever things get a bit pressing and orders and letters from the bank, you never know what you'll find down there. If nothing else, it's always a nice walk. But we've found all kinds of treasures along the beach. What's that, Eugene?
That's bloody crane's build. Geranium sanguineum.
It's a lovely color, isn't it?
It's gorgeous. Just going off now. She'll set the seed very soon.
Frequently, the attempt to escape back into a landscape and a lifestyle of a previous generation founders on a romantic naivety. Perhaps we have already come too far from the times when a man had no guilt feelings about being able to enjoy his own place and his own self, because it pleased him and not because it was profitable. But many who have tried to escape have failed. While for Eugene and Jody, living by their own hands may well be both a portent for and a key to their ultimate success and survival.
When I made my first set of drones, I went to Dan O'Dowd, who I heard was making reeds at that time. He was living in Donecarney and still is. That was my first contact with Dan. He didn't laugh at the pipes. He tried to help me put reeds in them. And through the pipes over the years, I've made a very firm friend of Dan. When you get to know him, he really has a great dry wit and is a very kind and gentle person.
The making of the reeds for the pipes is critical because they dictate how the instrument will finally sound. And each pipe maker has his individual outlook on how this is best achieved. The first stage in making a double reed is to prepare the copper staple, which will hold the cane. The cane used is Spanish cane or Orondo Donax. There are a total of 7 reeds in each set of pipes. 1 double reed in the chanter, a double reed in each of the 3 regulators, and a single reed or quill in each of the 3 drones. Here he makes a double reed. Unlike players of other reed instruments, like oboe, clarinet, or bassoon, pipers have an intimate relationship with their reeds, sometimes making their own, or at least having their own reed maker. Until the recent dramatic revival in traditional music, the pipes had held no interest for the professional reed makers. But now the young have taken to the pipes, without precedent in living memory, and a once dying tradition is living again. Eugene has to improvise and make his own tools for pipe making. Here the cane is being carefully shaped to produce the neck suitable for binding to the staple. Then they are split to produce an exact pair.
Various tricks are available to the pipe maker or piper for adjusting these reeds. Some involve the addition of wax, pieces of lead, moving, tuning brindles up or down. And it's this field that makes pipe making and piping somehow more attractive than simply putting a string on an instrument and tuning it up with a knob. It's often been said that a piper marries his pipes, he doesn't just play them.
The minute shaving of cane from differing areas of the reed blades will alter pitch and tone. The stock is drilled next. A specially made jig is clamped to each end of the wood, and this ensures that the 5 ports or holes to take drones and regulators are drilled through.
For close on 16 years now I've been coming to Clare. I remember vividly my first trip down here as a student, and I played in that time with Packy Russell on concertina in O'Connor's bar, when it was just a small little country bar and hadn't hit the big time on the continent. Ever since then I've had a love for Clare and Clare music in particular. I can't think of any nicer environment to work in.
The stock is the link and support between the bag, which supplies the air, and the drones and the regulators, the other music-making parts of the pipes.
My opinions of the playing of Irish traditional music are probably slightly different from some. I believe that the primary purpose of playing Irish music is for enjoyment, both for the player and for the listener or the dancer. In County Clare here, the older people at least get together for the enjoyment of playing, and they're not as interested in good technique or perfect triplets and so on as maybe the younger players in the cities are. There are still lots of musicians in the immediate environment of Fenor, in Doolin, Fermoyle, Lister-in-Varna, Kilfenora, Corofin. And I like to encourage musicians to come and play sessions in the schoolhouse here. We very often get together, Mick Lennan, Mick Carucan,